Hello, dear students, and welcome to the third part of the third chapter of history, the peasants and the Raj. In the previous two parts, we learned about the revenue settlements that were introduced by the Britishers in India to gain or earn more and more money to carry out the expenses of the company in India. Now, we are going to start the second half of the chapter, and in this chapter, we will learn about that how Britishers commercialized Indian agriculture, and we will focus that what were the major crops that were grown by the Britishers during that time. And we will see that what was the effect of the British policies of agriculture on the Indian peasants. All these things we will see in the second half of the chapter. So let's have a look on the content. Firstly, we will learn about commercialization of agriculture, crops for Europe, results of commercialization on peasants, story of indigo, and why Indian indigo was in demand. So let's start our chapter, and our first topic is commercialization of agriculture and cultivation. Before starting this topic, it is important to know that what is the meaning of the word commercialization. So, students, whenever we use the term commercialization, it normally means that to produce something to sell it in the market. Whenever we produce something to sell that the products in the market, then it means pur- it is for the purpose of commercialization. Now we will see that what is the meaning of the or what is the meaning of the commercialization of agriculture. Commercialization of agriculture, that means now we are going to produce or doing cultivation or agriculture for selling the agricultural crops in the market to earn money. That means whenever we grow for sale and to earn money, it is commercialization of agriculture. Whenever a farmer grows more than his consumption or his family's consumption and sell the balance amount in the market to earn money, it is commercialization of agriculture. Now we will see what was the need of commercialization of agriculture. So, as the Britishers realized that the countryside could not only yield revenue, it could also grow the crops that Europe required. So, why they started commercializing the Indian agriculture? The first reason was to earn more money. Next is to grow the raw materials that were required by the industries or their industries in Europe. So basically, why they focused on the commercialization of agriculture? So that they can grow the crops that were in demand in Europe. It could also grow the crops that Europe required. Now, what were the regions where the commercialization of agriculture was possible? For the commercialization, it is very important that the revenue amount should be collected in the form of cash. And all the three revenue settlements that were introduced by the Britishers, the permanent, the Ryotwari, and the Mehelwari, all these three revenue system used to collect the revenue amount as cash. As we have learned in the medieval period, that there were many rulers or there were many regions where they used to collect the land revenue in the form of crop products only. But for the commercialization, that means to earn money, it is important that the revenue should be collected in the form of cash. Now, so for collecting the revenue in the cash, it is majorly important that firstly the farmer will sell his product or his crop, food crop, in the market. Then he, whatever money he will get, he will give that money in the form of revenue to the lumbardars, zamindars, or the ryots. Now, the how Britishers commercialized the agriculture in India. So as from the starting they were doing, they forced the Indian laborers or the Indian farmers to produce cash crops in their fields. Why the cash crops, or what are the cash crops? Cash crops are basically the crops from which we can earn money, like jute, cotton, rubber, tea, all these were the cash crops. So now the Britishers started forcing our Indian peasants to grow cash crops in their field, or they try their best that they can force the Indian peasants to grow the crops that were in great demand in Europe. Now we will see crops for Europe. So basically, by the late 18th century, the company was trying its best to expand the cultivation of two main crops in India. The first was opium and the next was indigo. Now, what is opium? Opium is a powerful drug that is made from the seed of a poppy. Opium, in Hindi, opium is known as afim. Opium was also in great demand in the European countries. Next is indigo. So, indigo is a blue colored dye that is produced from indigo plant. There is a plant called indigo that produces a blue color dye. So, both these crops were in great demand in the European countries or in the international market. Later on, during the 19th century, the new cash crops came into existence like jute, cotton, rubber, sugarcane. They started selling wheat also. All these crops were in great demand in the international market. Like Bengal, farmers were basically forced for growing jute, Assam for tea, sugarcane, Uttar Pradesh, wheat in Punjab, cotton, Maharashtra and Punjab, and Madras for growing rice. Now, we will see that you can see the picture of Indian indigo. This is the Indian indigo that produces a rich blue color. This is the blue color. And now, this is opium. From this plant only, this is the opium plant. From this plant only, that drugs is being extracted. Now we will see what was the result of commercialization of crops on peasants. What was the result of the commercialization of agriculture by the Britishers in India? There were two important results of cultivation of commercial crops on peasants. When our peasants started producing commercial crops, so they were benefited also, and sometimes they suffered also. How they were benefited? Like, these crops were sold in the international markets. That means they can earn a good amount of money by selling these crops in the international market because they were in great demand. That means whenever a thing has a great demand, its price is also very high. Nextly, since they sell these crops in international market, so their demand also fluctuated. In good days, they earn to some extent, and in bad days, they suffered also. Sometimes, when there was no demand, then they suffered also. So, this was the result of commercialization on the Indian peasant. Now, let's come with me to the journey of story of indigo. Now, we are going to learn about indigo plant. Why this plant has a wide or an interesting story in the Indian history. So, indigo is a plant that is having a rich blue color and that produces a rich blue color that is in great demand since 16th to the 19th century in India. The Indian indigo produces a rich blue color that is used for dyeing clothes, and it is in great demand by the cloth manufacturers in dyers for dyeing the clothes. Indian indigo was being used by the cloth manufacturer of Italy, France, Britain to dye clothes. So now we will see that the British textile industry was largely dependent on indigo produced in India. By 13th century, Indian indigo was being used by cloth manufacturers in Italy, France and Britain to dye clothes. But only small amount or quantity of Indian indigo reached the European market because its price was very high. So that is why the European cloth manufacturers had to depend on the replacement of indigo plant. As you can see the title, replacement of indigo wood plant. Now what was the wood plant? As you can see in the picture, this wood plant also used as to produce dye. It do not produce that rich bright blue color that indigo produces. It produces violet and pale blue color. So it was replacement in the European countries because indigo was very costly. But after that also, Indian indigo was the first, we can say that first choice of the cloth manufacturers. Now Indian indigo grows in the tropical region. As we can say that India is a tropical country, that is the region, the climate here is suitable for the growth of indigo plant. And indigo was in great demand. Why it was in great demand? Because it produces a very rich bright color. Now what happened? Since the Indian indigo was in great demand in the European countries, that is why it was very costly. And as we can see about the wood plant was easily or can be easily grown in the temperate region. That is why it was easily available in the European countries. When the European wood producers saw that Indian indigo is on high demand, they told the government to impose ban on the import of indigo to European countries. Government did that also, and suddenly the demand of indigo goes down in the European countries. Later on, when the government or the European government saw that the preference of cloth dyer is indigo only, so later on, the European cloth manufacturers persuaded the government to relax the ban on indigo import because they need the indigo for the better quality of cloth production. So later on, this ban was also relaxed. Now, there were some more countries that used to produce indigo, that were Caribbean island, Brazil, Jamaica, Venezuela, North America and West Indies. But as America gained its independence from the Britain, it stopped the supply of indigo to European countries. West Indies also stopped its supply to Britain, and therefore, Britain turned to India for the solely production of indigo. Bengal was one of the surviving regions, unhindered by the sharp drop in global indigo production and trade. So they come towards India, their new colony, especially Bengal was the region where indigo was produced. Why they choose Bengal? Because the labor was also very cheap and indigo could be produced in large quantities. Now, slowly, the English East India Company began to look for ways to expand the area under indigo cultivation because its demand was increasing day by day due to the industrial revolution that flourished the European countries with lots of cloth manufacturing industries. The prospects of huge profits led many officials of the company to invest in the indigo cultivation. So, students, this is all for today. I have explained you that how the Indian indigo was in great demand in the European countries. In the next part, I will explain you about the cultivation of indigo in India. What were the major ideas or the ways Britishers adopted for producing indigo in India, and I will also explain you about the revolt that took place between the peasants and the Britishers. This is all for today. Please watch the video, read your chapter well. You will be able to understand it definitely. Thank you, students.